Hey, Beastista here, and welcome to week 5 of the VDL. This week we're playing against Mismagical Marauders. So currently I am 1-3, and so are the Mismag Marauders. So this is definitely a situation where both of our seasons are really not going great, but we're hoping to turn it around with this game. So it's a big match for both of us. Looking here, we can see the matchup on my opponent's team. So at first glance, this looks like a really tough matchup because they have Stakataka, they have Ninetales Alola, and Arctovish, and in addition to that, they have Regieleki, and on top of that, they also have a very strong Trick Room package in Stakataka and Quagsire, Stakataka and Guzzlord, and even Arctovish could be a Trick Room Pokemon. However, thinking about it a little bit more carefully, I definitely think I have the tools to beat every Pokemon on their team. And so it's definitely going to be a game where it's a lot of based about positioning, speed, and trying to abuse my strengths while not letting them overrun me with something like a very fast Regieleki or fast Ninetales or a Stakataka and Trick Room. So with that, let's go to the team I brought. So here's the team I ended up bringing. So looking at these six, starting at the kind of the bottom two on the left, Thundurus and Landorus, that's my main lead plan I'm intending on doing. Electro plus Earth Power has a guaranteed kill on Stakataka no matter what item it's holding. In addition to that, it also gets around redirection from something like Butterfree. And on top of that, I also have a fairly reasonable lead into the ice mode by doing Electro Web Rock Slide, which is going to do pretty massive amounts of damage and should be able to kill both of them if neither of them are holding a Charty Berry or a Wakan Berry. Other than that, some of my more notable Pokemon is Skarmory. Skarmory is my really only consistent answer at dealing with Stakataka once Stakataka is inside Trick Room, because it should be able to take pretty much any damage from Stakataka and Iron Defense and then Body Press and kind of kill it. Other than that, Skarmory is also pretty good into Ninetales and Arctovish, depending on, their specific sets, but should be pretty good into those. Up next, we have the Articuno, which is my set that's definitely a little bit strange. I'm running Bright Powder and Snow Cloak to abuse my opponent's setting up the Hell. And so basically 100% accurate moves with the combination of Bright Powder and Snow Cloak being up, I think ends up going down to like 70% accurate moves, and then 90% accurate moves I think go down to roughly 61%. So that means a Rock Slide from Stakataka only has roughly a 61% chance to hit my Articuno if Hell is up. Below that we have the Tornadus. The Tornadus is kind of there more just to trick my opponent into thinking I might want to go fast with Tailwind. I don't really plan on bringing it. However, technically I think I was supposed to have Focus Blast as my last move instead of Air Slash. But like I said, I wasn't really planning on bringing it too much unless things kind of went really bad or they brought something very unsurprising or surprising to me. And then finally we have Mantine. So Mantine has Wide Guard, which is pretty good because I'm expecting to see Blizzards on my opponent's side. I'm expecting to see Electro Web and Rock Slide on my opponent's side. So Wide Guard seems like a very good defensive tool. In addition to that, Hydro Pump from Mantine is a guaranteed one-shot on Stakataka, and it does very big damage into most Pokemon. And then Air Slash kind of covers up the rest of its with its moves. And so those are kind of the Pokemon I brought. And with that, let's get into the set. Here we are for game one. So looking at my opponent's team, they definitely have a lot of the Pokemon I was expecting to see. I was definitely expecting either Morgrem or Butterfree to be replaced with Arctovish, and I was expecting only one of those two to come. But these definitely are some of the Pokemon I was expecting to see for the most part. So with that, I don't see any reason to deviate with my main lead, which was the Landorus and the Thundurus with Skarmory in the back. And then here the main question was, do I want Mantine or Articuno as my fourth Pokemon? I decided to lean towards Mantine because I thought Mantine would be a little bit better defensively into most of these non-Regieleki mons, and so I decided to bring it. So my opponent leads Morgrem and Stakataka, and I lead my Thundurus and Landorus lead, which is my main game plan. So looking at this, we immediately see that Stakataka has Air Balloon, which is really awkward because without Air Balloon, I could just Focus Blast Earth Power and immediately threaten Stakataka with one shot with both my Mons. But because I can't do that, and Morgrim has Fake Out, it's a little bit awkward. So I decided to go for the Focus Blast and the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to be able to break the air balloon on the Stakataka and do a little chip damage to Morgrim, and then if they Fake Out into Landorus instead, Thundurus has a chance to one-shot. Here they Fake Out into Thundurus, which is the right play, and we are able to get a Rock Slide off, which doesn't do huge chunks of damage to the Stakataka, but does very good damage to Morgrim, and more importantly breaks the air balloon on the Stakataka. And so, however, they are able to get up Trick Room. And so here, my main decision is just to go for the Earth Power on Stakataka. Even with a like light screen on the Morgrim, Earth Power should be a pretty clean KO. And so my main decision point is whether or not I should pick Earth Power or Earthquake instead, in case they want to go for the Protect on the Stakataka. But I decided to do with Earth Power because it's a more consistent kill, and Earthquake is a roll at this range. And here, Thundurus is locked in, so there's no reason not to switch it out, and I switch it into Skarmory because Rock Slide seems like the most reasonable play on the Stakataka. So we do switch out into the Skarmory, and the Morgrim does go for the light screen, which means that I should be able to kill even with that up, no problems. And we get the Rock Slide, and it does very reasonable damage into the Landorus, but it gets the flinch, which is huge. This is definitely a major problem for me, because if I didn't get that flinch there, Stakataka would be dead, and I'd be in a very favorable position. So here, though, the Stakataka is able to Gyro Ball and kill the Landorus. This never kills at max HP, so the little Rock Slide damage was needed in order to kill the Landorus from that HP. And we see that the Morgrim has Burning Jealousy, which is pretty awkward because it does fairly good amount of damage into it, and also if I happened to have been slower than the Morgrim, it would have burned me after this Iron Defense, which would have been major problems. However, I am able to get an Iron Defense, which makes me in pretty good position for this Stakataka. Now I shouldn't take much damage from it, and I should be able to do pretty good damage into it. So here I just decided to go with the Wide Guard. I'm expecting Rock Slide and Burning Jealousy from them, and I go for the Body Press into the Stakataka, and this should do about 80% if I was to guess. And so definitely feeling very good if they just do the obvious play. So we go for the Wide Guard, and after the Wide Guard we see that Stakataka does go for the Rock Slide, which means this Wide Guard was already worth it no matter what happens the rest of the turn. But not only did they go for that, they also go for the Burning Jealousy, which means this was a perfect turn. We're able to get them to block both of their moves with the Mantine, and with that we're able to get a pretty free Body Press off into the Stakataka, doing enough to get a 2-hit, but definitely a little bit less than I was hoping. But I'm assuming I probably wasn't accounting for the defense boost from Beast Boost. And so here I just go for the Wide Guard, the same play, the Wide Guard and the Body Press. There's probably a reasonable chance for me to have gone for a Hydro Pump instead, reading that they aren't going to go for double spread move again. However, I decided to just be safe because a Mantine does not take a Rock Slide particularly well. So they switch out Morgrim into Ninetales. And Ninetales has Snow Warning, which is expected. And we go for the Wide Guard. And Stakataka goes for the Gyro Ball, which does very little damage to the Skarmory, but does enough damage to activate my Citrus Berry, healing me up a little bit. And from here we're able to get the Body Press. Like I said, I probably could have Hydro Pumped and killed, well, not killed, I could have done a very good amount of damage into the Ninetales, but I definitely didn't want to risk the Rock Slide. However, with this being the last turn of Trick Room, as we see, I think I probably should have gone for the Hydro Pump into the Morgrim spot and either killing Morgrim or doing a very big chunk of damage to Regieleki. Into the Ninetales, and now they bring out Regieleki, which definitely puts me in a bad position because Regieleki is outspeeding my entire team, and I only have one Electric Resist. And so the main question is do I want to switch in in order to read an attack into Regieleki, and I decide not to. And so I just decide to go for some damage into the Regieleki and protect the Mantine. The main reason behind this is because even though and so what we see here is I actually go for the Protect the Mantine, but the Protect doesn't work, and I forgot that wide guard can protect after it, and so that was definitely a little bit awkward and a misplay on my side. And if I would have just attacked, I think I would have been in very good position, because Hydro Pump probably gets Regieleki close to being in hell damage. And so that definitely ended up being a massive misplay, because both the fact that Protect didn't do anything, because it had the ability to fail, and the fact that, you know, they didn't attack into that spot with the Eleki. But now we're in, the Thunderous is in, and so this is definitely a point in which I just go for the Protect, and I'm deciding on whether or not I want to go for the Electro Web or the Thunderbolt. I decided to go for the Electro Web because I'm hoping to be able to outspeed with the Mantine. This is definitely a fool's errand. I definitely think I should have gone for Thunderbolt, because I believe 2 Thunderbolts from this range kills Ninetales. However, a single or 2 Electro Webs, as we see, is definitely not going to kill Ninetales. And now, though they're a little bit slower, Mantine is not particularly fast, and even at +2 speed, I don't think is not going to outspeed the Regieleki here. And as we can see, I'm not doing quite as much damage as I should in this case. However, luckily I only get 1 hit by the triple axle here. So definitely not looking in a great position. I definitely think the only way I'm getting out of this is a miss on the Thunder Cage, and being a little bit lucky with the ice. Triple axle misses as well. So we get the Electro Web off, and like I said, you know, I was in theory trying to hoping to get outspeed out, but obviously Mantine is not going to outspeed Regieleki at -2. And with that, Mantine does get hit by the Thunder Cage, and I get killed, and now this game is pretty much over, unless somehow I get really lucky on triple axles and Regieleki is scarfed or some sort of choice item. But as we see, I don't get the luck and lose there. I think I had a slight chance if I would have clicked Thunder Wave, because I think the double up would have killed the Ninetales, and then they would have to risk non-electric. They need non-electric moves. However, I found later that they had extreme speed, and so I don't think there was any outs at that point. So let's get into game 2. So here for game 2. So after game 1, I definitely don't think I want to change my lead, because I feel like that lead is in fact the best. And but with that, I definitely feel the need to have Skarmory in the back, because if they do the same lead, are able to get up Trick Room, I need a switch into Rock Slide, and Skarmory is my only real switch into Rock Slide. And then finally, I'm deciding between Articuno and Mantine, and I decide that Articuno seems better, because Articuno actually has a reasonable matchup into the Regieleki. Maybe not a reasonable, but it has a chance to do something with Regieleki, because in the Hell and Bright Powder, Articuno is likely not going to get hit by the Thunder Cage or even Thunderbolt, and so definitely I think Articuno is the pick. So my opponent leads Butterfree Stakataka, and this is honestly the perfect lead. I'm incredibly happy about this lead. Because of my safety goggles on my Landorus, there's pretty much nothing they can do to stop my lead outside of me missing an Electro Web. So I go for the Earth Power and the Electro Web on the Thunderous, and this is pretty much a guaranteed kill on Stakataka, preventing Trick Room unless they have unless I miss the Electro Web. So Butterfree goes for Endure, which is definitely very surprising, especially given the fact that they know I have Earth Power, and so this definitely just is incredibly risky on their side. And we see that Electro Web does a little bit over 50% into the Butterfree, meaning I should be able to kill it next turn. And with this, we pop the Air Balloon, and the Earth Power is a clean 1-hit KO from that range with the Earth Power. And turn 1 goes perfect on my side. So they end up bringing out Ninetales, and I definitely feel like I'm in a very good position. From game 1, we know that my Thunderous outspeeds, which means their Ninetales is not scarfed, and I should be able to get a clean double KO if I'm able to hit with both my moves with Electro Web and Rock Slide. So the Butterfree goes for Rage Powder, which does literally nothing since I click 2 spread moves. And so with that, we're able to get Electro Web and luckily get the double connect, which is definitely huge. Getting Ninetales slower, so now that my Landorus should not be able to outspeed, and also killing the Butterfree. And here we can get the Rock Slide, and if we hit it, which we do, we should be able to get a clean KO, and we do. It's definitely really big turn, and with this, I definitely feel like this game is definitely pretty much guaranteed to be in our favor. There's no Pokemon in the back I can imagine that is able to get him out of this, and the last mon is Quagsire. And so here we see that the play is just to Earth Power into Quagsire and switch out because I'm locked into an electric move, and I decide to switch into Articuno instead of Skarmory. It's pretty hard to tell which is the optimal one, but I decided to bring in Skarmory or Articuno because I like Articuno, and also it might be worth them thinking about it in Game 3. So we see the Earth Power does pretty reasonable damage, but definitely they're pretty especially bulky, and we see that the Blizzard just barely misses out on the KO, which is definitely big and noteworthy going into Game 3. And so here we just do the Earth Power and Triple Axle, and there's not much else I can do other than just clicking both of them. I should definitely be able to get the kill with this though. So we get the Earth Power off, and as we see, it does pretty good damage, and we get the Triple Axle, and we get the crit, which is pretty good, and we do just barely too little damage to get the kill, which is really annoying because it'd been nice to give Articuno a kill there. But, luckily for me, the Hell is able to get enough to kill the Quagsire, and we're able to get the win. So that game went very well, but I definitely don't expect my opponent to lead like that in Game 3, and, we'll see how it goes. Let's get to Game 3. Here we are for Game 3. So that game went a lot better, and so looking at my team, I definitely think there's no reason not to just have the same exact lead as I did in the previous game. And so the plan is just Thundurus and Landorus, and then the main question is which mons in the back are the best. And I definitely think that, there's not much reason for me to think that the Tornadus is going to do anything. And so with that, I decide I think just, I might as well just go with the same that I brought in the previous game, which is Skarmory and Articuno. I definitely considered Mantine, but Mantine is just so bad into the Regieleki that it seems very awkward. Obviously, Articuno is not the best into the Stakataka, so it's kind of a mixed bag, and I decided that the Articuno seems like the better mon. So my opponent leads Morgrem Ninetales, and I lead the same lead, which is the Landorus and Thundurus. So with this, I definitely think that my Landorus is incredibly threatened. And so the main question is do I want to protect or switch up? And I decided to protect and just go for the Electro Web. I'm expecting Thundurus to be faked out here, but if not, I'm in very good shape with the Electro Web. And so we end up going for the Protect on the Landorus, and we see that the fake out does in fact go into the Thundurus as expected. And they go for a Triple Axle into the Landorus, which definitely is big, because if it would have gone to the Thundurus, I think I would be in very bad shape. So from here, I'm basically deciding whether or not I want to go for the Electro Web and Rock Slide, or switch out the Landorus. So the plus side of Electro Web Rock Slide is that there's a good chance that it could kill the Ninetales. The downside of it is if I miss the Electro Web, or I miss the Rock Slide, or they go for the Light Screen, there's a pretty good chance Ninetales survives, and I lose my Landorus, which seems incredibly important in this matchup, and so I decided to just switch out into the Articuno. So we switched in the Articuno, and Morgrem goes for a Trick, which definitely would have punished me greatly if I would have kept the Landorus in, because they give me an Iron Ball, which lowers my speed. They end up getting a one hit on the Triple Axle, which isn't too surprising since Triple Axle is only 9% accurate, and I have both Bright Powder and Snow Cloak on currently. And so now both my opponent's Pokemon are a little bit slower, and so I decided to go for the Still Wing to kill the Ninetales. And the main question is, do I want to just get some damage into the Morgrem or switch out? And I decided to go for the Thunderbolt onto the Morgrem with the intention of trying to get the double kill this turn. So Morgrem ends up tricking, and they trick my Choice Scarf into their own Ninetales. And with that, Ninetales now is outspeeding me even at -1 speed, and are able to get a triple hit into the Thundurus, killing my Thundurus. Definitely really awkward. Honestly, I wasn't really thinking about this. However, luckily for me, I am able to get a Steel Wing off into the Ninetales, getting a clean kill on the Ninetales. So far, or so right now, I'm definitely feeling in not the worst shape, but definitely could be in a little bit better. And so at this position, I decided to bring in the Landorus, just because Landorus seems like the more threatening of all their mons, and nothing really outspeeds it, and it can do pretty good damage into pretty much their entire team. And so this situation, they end up bringing in Quagsire. And so here, I decided to just go for the triple axle into the Quagsire and the Earthquake. The Earthquake should do enough damage to kill the Morgrim from this range, and it should also do a reasonable chunk into the Quagsire. In addition, they also set up Light Screen, which would make the Earth Power do a little bit less damage as well. And so with the Earthquake, we are able to get Morgrim, kill the Morgrim, and end up doing very good damage into the Quagsire. And we triple axle, which ends up doing just, getting it to about, 20%, which is pretty good. And the Blizzard on the Quagsire ends up killing Landorus this time, which is really a little bit sad. In game 2, we saw that it was I actually survived, so we see that it's actually a roll. And so with this, we are down 2v2. But as I'm definitely feeling great as long as the last Pokemon isn't Regieleki, and we reveal that it is Regieleki. And so now this is definitely a little bit of a tricky situation, because Regieleki, if it has Thunderbolt, should threaten to kill both of my Mons. And so in this situation, there's not much for me to do except go for the double up into the Regieleki with Body Press and Triple Axle, hope the double up kills, and hope that they either attack Skarmory and it doesn't kill because it's 30, or they attack Articuno and it misses because of Bright Powder. So in this situation, as long as they don't protect, which they don't, I feel pretty good. Unluckily for me, they hit the 61% accurate Thunder Cage into the Articuno. And however, I am able to get the triple axle off, and the triple axle luckily gets all 3 hits. And with that, we are also able to get the body press off, and the body press is able to finish off the Regieleki, putting me just there. This was incredibly close, and if they had Protect or Click Protect there, I definitely think they probably get there. They end up connecting with an Ancient Power and killing my Articuno, but now my Skarmory is pretty much guaranteed to win this. Obviously, it could be a little bit awkward if they have recovery, so I'm really hoping that the Body Press cleans it off here, but I'm pretty sure it should based on how low HP the Quagsire is. And we get the Body Press and able to get the kill and get our win. So this was incredibly close 3-game set. I definitely was hoping to get a get a 2-0 here to get in a momentum, but this was really fun, really close. I'm sorry that Mismag's now 1-4, but I'm very happy to be 2-3. Definitely, gives me hope to possibly reach my, preseason goal of getting a 4-4 record. And, hopefully y'all enjoyed, and thank you all for watching.